If you've been watching this channel for a while, you'll know that I'm a fan of George Michael's music, although I'm mainly talking about his solo work, as the Wham songs are great and all, but it was Michael's solo music that really did it for me. Because of this, I'm hoping we can take a look back at George's solo albums, beginning with Faith and ending with Patience. Now, for those of you who are wondering, I will get round to reviewing the Wham side of things sometime, but not right now. However, for now, let's begin by looking at George Michael's most successful album, Faith. Let's be honest, when it comes to Faith, it's the image that mainly stands out to everyone. That look is just iconic at this point. The leather jacket, the shades. The Faith album is a product of its time. It's edgy, there's hypermasculinity, and explicit sexuality. Now, the main reason why George Michael had changed his image to this is because he wanted to get away from his Wham persona. He wanted credibility. Faith was supposed to be more mature, and that's obvious just from playing the music video for Wake Me Up Before You Go Go and I Want Your Sex side by side. Michael was hoping for an older demographic. As I'm sure you all know, Faith was a huge success, selling over 20 million copies, and winning countless awards. This sounds great on paper for George Michael, although the truth is that George had often described the Faith period as overwhelming. He found touring to be a lonely experience. This was partly due to the fact that he was doing it alone, and Michael found being one of the most popular artists in the world hard to deal with. Although, despite this, Faith is obviously an astounding album. But why is the album so good? Well, let's begin by taking a look at the album cover. In some ways, the front cover represents how George was hiding behind the Faith image, as we see his jacket almost covering him. The blue for the background is important to mention, because the colour blue represents hope, faith. As for the back cover, there's not much to say, the title, name, and songs listed. Inside we have yet another picture of George. And of course there is a third picture of Michael, which is also used for the Faith single. There's the lyrics. And that's round about it for the artwork. So the music. Genres found on this album are pop, funk, R&B, synth pop, soul, and finally rock. This album does indeed have variety, and compared to Wham, the sound has changed. We still have George's unmistakable voice here, yet the overall sound of this album is more aggressive, and the themes touched upon are more mature. And before I forget, just to reinforce how successful this album was, it had 4 number 1s with Faith, Father Figure, One More Try, and Monkey. Right, shall we discuss the first song now? The title track, Faith. The song begins with a pipe organ version of Wham's Freedom. This is comforting for listeners who liked Wham, as there's a sense of familiarity. The pipe organ intro is grand and gradually builds up to Michael's vocals and the acoustic guitar coming in. There's a sense of urgency throughout the track Faith. This is conveyed through George's intense vocals and the guitar. In addition, the bass is great. And as for the music video, it showcases George Michael's new look. When watching this music video, it makes you realize how strong the marketing was for the Faith album. The video is nothing groundbreaking, though you have to admit, it's definitely iconic. In terms of meaning, Faith is about a relationship with an untrustworthy partner. But most importantly, I believe the song is about faith in general. Everybody's gotta have faith, including George. He had to have faith in the fact that going solo would work.
'Cause I gotta have faith. I gotta have faith. Because I got to have faith. I got to have faith, the faith, the faith.
This track is a fantastic opener, and leads straight into Father Figure. Looking firstly at the music video, the video depicts a relationship between a model and a cab driver. The video is telling a story and I love it. At times, it's easy to forget that these music videos came out over 30 years ago. I mean, sure, the videos aren't even in high definition, yet still. The track is about a man wanting to make his partner feel loved and safe.
That's all I wanted. Someone special, someone sacred in my life. For just one moment, to be wanting at your side.
The instrumentals may seem slower and more laid back at first, although there is a sense of tension around the choruses. I think this helps to convey the meaning of the track. I Want Your Sex. Now, I've joked about this song on various occasions. However, we have to be serious now. Firstly, it would only be necessary for us to discuss the controversy surrounding this track. The song promotes sex, and this was a huge problem. The main reason why this was a problem was because of the growing threat of HIV/AIDS. Due to this, I Want Your Sex was banned by the BBC and certain radio stations in the US. This is an aggressive song lyrically, and with the instrumentation. By the way, the album version of this song goes on for nearly 10 minutes, people. This is due to part 1 and part 2 being on here. Okay, this is a bit too much for me to listen to all the way through. I've lost count of how many times Michael has said the word sex. And once those horns come in for part 2, I'm already prepared for the next song. Yet, if you like this near 10-minute album version of I Want Your Sex, then by all means, more power to you. But anyways, let's now give one more try a listen. This has always been one of my favourites on Faith. The lyrics tell us of someone who is hesitant to enter a new relationship. Because of past experiences, they look for guidance from their possible new lover as they feel they have a lot to learn. This explains why the word teacher is used. The music video puts an emphasis on loneliness. With George in an empty apartment, the curtains are drawn, giving you the idea of someone who's alone and scared of the outside world. The instrumentation is moving and creates a sense of deep emotion, and after one more try, that's the end of side 1. So far, the album has got me hooked, so let's see what the other half of Faith has to offer. Hard Day, oh, this is not one of my favourites. Although it's nothing awful, it's just okay. I like the instrumentals, and it's cool how George Michael alters his voice to sound female. The lyrics are from the perspective of a man who's in a relationship where sex is all they've got.
The words sound just the same. Something like, you're there. Can we just make the love in there? Say yes, this is what we do. Stand have such a hard day.
After Hard Day, we're going into non-singles territory, with Hand to Mouth and Look at Your Hands. Firstly, Hand to Mouth. This is a track I and many others love. If you're going to talk about Hand to Mouth, you need to discuss the lyrics. The song is strong lyrically. The track speaks for the poor who may be or are in difficult situations. It's a commentary on how their struggles are dismissed.
Sweet little baby on a big white doorstep. She needs a mother, but her mother is dead.
The instrumentals are terrific, great bass, and some clever melodies are scattered throughout Hand to Mouth. Honestly, this is one of George Michael's most underrated songs. Look at Your Hands. I'm not too fond of this song. It just doesn't stand out to me. Both this song and Hard Day are not my thing. I find the instrumentation to be repetitive. Apparently the lyrics for Look at Your Hands touch on domestic abuse. It's great that Michael wrote songs about issues in the world that are relevant even today, though Look at Your Hands is not for me personally. Luckily, the next track we have is Monkey. This song has one of my absolute favourite George Michael music videos. You've got the footage of Michael performing on his 1988 tour. This just goes to show how good of a performer he was. You've also got George with the black hat and the white background busting some moves. To me, this is the Faith album's true dance track. Who wouldn't want to get up and shake their hips to this funky song? Overall, the instrumentation is well done. If you don't already know the meaning of this track, you may be shocked to find out that Monkey is about being involved in a relationship with a partner who has an alcohol drug addiction.
Why can't you do it? Why can't you set your monkey free? Always giving into it. Do you love the monkey or do you let me?
The word monkey is the drugs or alcohol, and that's around about it for this song. Terrific track. The ninth and second to last song on the Faith album is Kissing a Fool. This is that typical track you stick on to unwind. This song gives Faith an extra bit of that essential ingredient, which is variety. Some may say KAF sounds out of place on this album, and to that I say perhaps, yet that doesn't detract from the fact that this is a great track. I'm all for a bit of jazz. The music video helps to accentuate the point that Kissing a Fool is free from any sense of tension. Like a lot of the songs on this album, the track is about a relationship. Although here, the song touches on certain challenges with relationships. And that's round about it for Kissing a Fool. Faith ends with part 3 of I Want Your Sex. Compared to part 1 and 2, it's less aggressive. The instrumentals are nice, and it's just a pleasant final track for an astonishing album. To wrap things up, the Faith album was an ambitious jump that of course paid off. With this album we see George Michael's music mature, although Michael makes sure not to forget his Wham roots. In terms of structure, Faith kicks things off with some of its biggest and best singles. Meanwhile, the latter half of Faith may be not as thrilling, but we still have some great tracks such as Hand to Mouth, Monkey, and Kissing a Fool. There are only a few gripes I have with this album, such as I Want Your Sex overstaying its welcome, and me not particularly liking Hard Day and Look at Your Hands. Other than that though, with great lyrics, instrumentation, and structure, I would have to say Faith is an album that is well worth listening to, even if you're not a George Michael fan, because I'm sure there's something for everyone on this album. It's one of the best albums of the 80s. And with that said, I hope this video has given you a greater understanding of why George Michael's Faith is so good. Hello, I hope you enjoyed the review. What are your thoughts on the album Faith? What album should I review next? Make sure to tell me in the comments down below. Subscribe if you're new and want to see more content like this. Like this video if you enjoyed it. And most importantly, share this video to anyone who may be interested. Until next time, stay safe, goodbye.